Well, Grand Rising, Jackson. Grand Rising. Today's a Monday morning. Today is a Monday morning. I hope everybody's doing well today. I hope you had a good night rest. I also hope that you had a very good weekend. Of course, everything on this end was pretty good. No problems. You know, we still running, still studying, and still learning things, learning new things. But anyway, so today we want to talk about a lot of different things today. Again, as we talk, we're just gonna have a little conversation. You know what I'm saying? I just want to say, you know, well, your president. Well, they finally made a deal. They finally made a deal with this, with Iran, Iran, however you want to pronounce their names. They finally made a name. They finally made a deal with these people, with those people over there, to stop this war, to open up the ports so those oil rigs can come through those canals. Um, yeah, I mean, the only thing you got to see was within the next 7 8 days. What happens? What happens within the next 7 to 8 days? So, hey, look here. If you know what I'm saying, but hey, the market still drove. They still drove the markets up. Some folks got paid. Some folks got paid. What is going on? Look, let me tell you something. I'm just gonna keep this. The views and opinions of me, the host Raphael Bird, does not reflect any of the views and opinions of any platform that hosts the 601 Network, Real Jackson News. Let me put out that disclaimer, because this is real talk and no fluff. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe in what they call it serendipitous, and I don't believe in none of that. None of that. I don't believe in none of that. None of that. You got all of a sudden now this war's over with. Okay, congratulations to the New York Knicks. They won. Uh, After they sold all that dirt, doggone merchandise, they won. Okay, cool. Now, then we got. Then it was his 80th birthday. Then they had a UFC fight at the White House. I don't. Nah. I ain't buying it. I'm not buying it. Not me. Look, you can do whatever you want to do. You can think whatever you want to think. I got my way of thinking. You got your way of thinking. But I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe uh, a consecutive manner of success happens like that. No. Mm-mm. And it's surrounding one individual, because he attended that Knicks game. He attended that game. What was that about? Hey, man, come on. And what about he wanted to come to that game because he wanted to see them play? He could have seen them play any time. Nah, get out of here with that mess, man. Deals was made, bets was made. I'm telling you, I don't care what nobody say. Somebody made big money on him coming to that game. Somebody made some bread for him coming to that game. Y'all, look. We just can't look at just what has happened. We need to look at why it happened. Cause I don't believe in none of that coincidence stuff. None of that. They sold more merchandise in New York City ever. Ever. They sold more merchandise. This was a money game. If if they do football the same way, it's a money game. How much merchandise can be sold will be sold. is being sold. Man, New York Knicks got sold so much merchandise, it wasn't even funny. That's how you know who's going to win. They do the football the same way. They let that thing go all the way, and all of a sudden they took it in San Antonio. Come on, man. Yo, I don't believe in coincidences. A lot of folks may disagree. Hey, look here, just you entitled to that, but I don't believe in it. They went over there in San Antonio and took it over there, and then they came back to New York to celebrate because they knew that they knew in New York they was gonna get crazy. They had to play it in San Antonio because they knew it was too much over there in New York. The cats over there in New York is gonna be like, we gonna turn this song upside down. If they would have played in New York, it would have been bad. It would have been bad. And see, you gotta think about it this way too. You know what I'm saying? You know, with all these terrorist attacks and all this old mess, you know what I'm saying, get somebody an opportunity to do something. So they had to take it on. It could be 3 or 4 things at one time. I know that's what they was thinking too. They was looking at that too. They took a lot of special precautions for that game, and they calculated it for it to be that way. If New York gonna win, New York gonna win in San Antonio. New York not gonna win here. This not gonna be New York's last game. Why? Here's the deal. Because New York is heightened for terrorism. They heighten it. I mean, it's known for terrorism. You know what I'm saying? Look what they do at the Times Square now. They took the special precautions. You don't think they took special precautions at Madison Square? See, the people went crazy. The people is what went nuts. There was no terrorist attack. The people went nuts. See, that was it. But they didn't want to take. They took all special precautions, man. They're not stupid. Come on, man. You think them folks is very calculative. Donald Trump, very calculative. I'm not talking about him himself, but he got a team around him. You think they didn't take special precautions for that man to come to that game? That man is president of the United States of America. Of course, his brand is worth more than the presidency. But the point is, you know what I'm saying? He's a celebrity in itself. He was a celebrity before he became president. Come on, let's keep that real. Let's keep that real. So he had people already around him. Then all of a sudden now the Secret Service, he got the Secret Service plus his own security team. Man, come on, let's keep that real. They had already special precautions laid out for the presidency, for the president to come to New York before when the decision was made. When that decision first was made, them son said, "Yo, all right, this is what we need to do. We need to get this building, that building, this building, that building, this building, this building, all these buildings, every building around here locked down. Every building around that Times Square was locked down. The backside built all 4 corners, because you know Madison Square Garden is crazy big. You know what I'm saying? Madison Square Garden is crazy big. They got multiple arenas in that Sun Garden, one big spot. It ain't one big arena. It's not one big arena. You might have hockey and wrestling playing at the same time. They got different arenas in that spot. So I'm saying they planned that. They planned for him to come. Don't you think they planned for the Knicks to win? Keep that real. They planned for the Knicks to win. Because they knew what it was going to do for the city. They knew what the economical value it was going to bring to the city. And the prestige. And the recognition. You know what I'm saying? Because the city probably had been struggling. You know what I'm saying? They had been struggling financially, and they brought a big financial. Yo, I wonder what that number looked at like on that merchandise. I wonder what it looked. I'm talking about what it looked like overall. I wonder what the numbers looked at like. They brought a lot of. I mean, a lot of businesses got a lot of. Made a lot of money. Made a lot of money during for the duration of this event, of these events, of these games. And then especially when President of the United States came to the game, man, you know how much money was made. You know how many deals was done. You know how much. I wonder what the stock market looked like. Them stocks moved. Them stocks moved, Jack. I'm telling you, man. I don't believe in coincidences, Jackson. I don't believe in coincidences. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that, you know what I'm saying, that, all this stuff is going on. Then all of a sudden, then now it's his 80th birthday. He had a UFC fight at the White House. You know what I'm saying? He'll take the proceeds. The proceeds going to go to, let's say they're going to go to the soldiers or something. So, in my opinion, it should go to the fighters. They deserve it. It should go to those fighters. They really deserve it. Every last person that fought. But then nevertheless, you know what I'm saying? I'm still stuck. I'm stuck on all that. So the only remaining question is today, Jackson, is what's next? What's next? What is the new focal? What's going to be the new focal point on his agenda? Because I'm looking at Cuba. I'm looking at Cuba. You know what I'm saying? I am looking at Cuba, but look, I digress on that stuff because, like I said, the crap gives me a headache. It gives me a headache. I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting a headache right now. I digress. I let my plane land it. My plane landed on that mess because, like I said, it gives me a headache. It does. That's why I don't talk about it. I don't like. I hate talking about that mess because at the end of the day, where you're sitting at, whether you're on your phone, you're looking at it, whatever medium, uh, on how you're looking at viewing, reviewing this video. Whatever media devices you're using, excuse me, whatever media devices you're using, question remains. Question remains. All that going on from where you sitting at, how does it really truly directly affect you? Yeah, I know it can affect you with the fuel prices jacking up. You're driving your car, and you gotta bump that bill. Got that. But you gonna bump that bill anyway because you ain't got no choice. So I understand that kind of affecting what inflations and fuel prices and grocery prices and things like that because it affects me too. But I'm talking about like that mess going on at the White House, the New York Knicks game. How does that affecting you? What do you got going on down there in Cuba? How's that affecting you? It don't. It don't affect you at all. It got nothing to do with you. So I mean, for me, that's why I say for me, it gives me a headache. It gives me a headache. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. The media news tells a lot of bad news. They tell a lot of bad news. Tell a lot of news to a distractional degree. To a distractional degree, it tells news. You know what I'm saying? For you, focus on. Nah, I'd rather watch Leave the Bill. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather look at Leave the Bill. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm saying, so. But anyway, yeah. So yeah. Well, but anyway, we got to we was waiting on. I was waiting on. I was sitting there looking at I was sitting here looking at I was sitting here looking at that article. Well, not an article, but that email that I was reading that I had received. I was reading, of course, like I say, you got to reread things sometimes about J Train and how they're trying to come up with a whole new system, to minimize, the route. They're trying to use shorter buses or whatever the case may be. And I'm rereading it and everything, and I'm kind of like looking at this thing, and I'm like, and I'm asking myself a question: what's really going on here? Because they just spent a lot of money. If you don't know, now you know. J Train has spent a lot of money. Reorganized the routes. They rechanged the routes up. You know what I'm saying? They don't come through certain neighborhoods anymore like they used to. It don't be like one bus coming through the neighborhood doing like a little roundabout type situation. You know what I'm saying? Now they got this thing where it's eastbound, westbound, northbound, southbound, that type of thing. But it ain't all together yet. They're still giving out these surveys and doing all these. They did a lot of that stuff. They did a lot of stuff last year. Surveys and year before last and all this kind of. And they was granted some funds. They They had got new buses. They had gotten new buses. They had gotten, of course, like I said, they changed the routes. They got a new system. They got a new system, where you can use an app, where you can use the website. And it was like, for me, before my daughter got her car, she was riding the bus, and she understood that system very well. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And it's like, for me, it's like all these changes that they made now all of a sudden. But I'm still not understanding why I'm not gonna say I don't understand why they beefing, why the union and the and MV Transport is beefing. I'm not saying that I don't understand that. I understand that. But what I'm saying is that what I don't understand is why they didn't come into a consensus. Why, homeboy, why did not put it on blast or put it out there in the public so folks can know? Because the union ain't said nothing yet. MV Transport sent out their little document. That's what I was reading. MV Transport sent out their little document, but MV Transport got something going on. Look. You can say whatever you want, and I'm telling you straight up, because I sit on that paratransit. I sit on that paratransit committee as a stakeholder. Let me tell you something. MV Transport got something going on. I ain't saying nothing illegal. I ain't saying nothing legal. I just said they got something going on. Because I've been at the meetings, and I seen them come in and make presentments. They suck. It's not what you do say, it's what you don't say. Come on, man. Look, leave out the ambiguity and the fluff. Get to the real point. And then nobody can ask you questions. You want to come up, you want to make a speech, and you don't want to take no questions from nobody. And then everything is so vague. It's not. I mean, man, if vague, I'm talking about, man. Listen, If you could physically see vague, man, I promise you, you saw it that day. Homeboy was so vague, it wasn't even fun. They so vague. They come out and put their best person out there, all written, the documents all written up. He just conveying, he's just repeating what's been written. You could tell it's wrote. Hey, that's like that document that they wrote, that I got sent. Oh yeah, yeah. And then the union hadn't said a word. Okay, so what's really going on? What's really going on? Let me tell you something. It's like for me, like all of a sudden now they got the consent agenda on J-Tran under control, right? Because we was under J-Tran was up on the consent, not consent agenda. Excuse me, my apologies. A consent decree from the government. They was under a consent decree, but then they got that up under control. Now all of a sudden, now they think everything was hunky. See, I knew this was gonna happen. I said as soon, I promise y'all this. And y'all can mark my word. Every ding dong stakeholder that was at that meeting that had a discussion with me, this is what I told them. I said, when this consent, I said, and I think I made that statement. When this consent agenda is dissolved, is resolved and dissolved, you watch they cut up. You watch they cut up. And then Chairperson Scott Crawford, they minimized the meetings. First it was every month. What was it, every month? Or every 2 months or something. And then she changed it every 3 months. I think it was every other month. Yeah, it was every other month. And then he changed it every 3 months. And then all of a sudden we stopped having in-person meetings. Everything's virtual. We stopped having hybrid meetings. Now it's personal. It's virtual. Nah, I ain't going for it. I said I told somebody that before. I said when this consent this consent decree is resolved and dissolved, J-Tran, them stakeholders and all them, stakeholders, but them union reps and all that, they're going to cut up. They're going to cut up. It's something on that backside. And look what happened. Since that time, we had one, possibly two. One, possibly two strikes. I ain't look. Tell you something, bro. I will keep the pressure on these folks. It's something in that. It was something in that stipulation, in those stipulations, that they didn't put. It's something they didn't put in them stipulations. I really wish I could have read that information. I didn't read that information. I didn't have the information. I don't even remember. Matter of fact, you know what? I did read it. I read so much stuff. I did read it. I do have it in my computer. They did resolve it, but they didn't have them stipulations in there. I'm telling you, these people, see, hey, they do what they want to do. Now we got them every 3 months. Now, like I said, when something like this happens, why can't we call an emergency meeting? Why can't he just blow out something and just say, hey, look, listen, let's have an emergency meeting about this mess? Now that right there can be virtual. Got that. An emergency meeting, yeah. Let's be okay. Let's do it. Let's be virtual, and let's all get on. Let's get on our phones and be on camera, or you know, what I'm saying, and let's just have make this discussion. Let's go down there to the city council and make this discussion. Let's not do anything. Let's have an emergency meeting about this. Everybody needs to be involved. And let's start writing these letters. Let's write up a petition. Inundate these suckers with petitions and letters. They're going to do something about it, because you know why? You're influencing the voters. Look at talk to your pastors and if all the stakeholders was to talk to the pastors in their local areas, I guarantee you, and they talk to the residents in their churches, I guarantee you something would happen. I guarantee you something would happen. But you have to voice your opinion. Case in point, I went to a new church yesterday. A new church. And I made it to Bible study, to Sunday school. And, you know, when it was time to talk, I'm not going to look. Just because I'm new, I'm not going to sit there. I'm listening to what's being said. I'm listening to everything that's been said. I'm listening to everything. I tally up everything. So why can't I formulate my opinion? Why? Because I'm new? Because nobody knows me? You got just much to say. A person that's coming into the city that has made their evaluations has just much to say as a person that's been here forever. They have just as much to say as a person that's been here forever. Plain landing on that one. Because, like I said, you know, this right here is what affects you directly. This is what affects you directly. Because your loved one probably, because you might have to take your loved one somewhere where they used to take the bus all the time. They can't get on the bus because of X, Y, and Z. So this affects you directly. You may ride the bus. It affects you directly. That's what you need to be concerned about. Not what's on that idiot box. Not what's on somebody telling you your vision. Somebody telling you your vision. Vision. You telling me what you see. Or you telling me what I'm supposed to see. Nah, don't tell me nothing. Tell vision. Give me a break. Don't tell me I don't want to know what you see. That's your perspective. Nah, but I'm just saying. This affects us directly. And I'm like, I'm not agreeing with that. Let me tell you something. I'm not agreeing with the way we moving on that paratransit side, on the paratransit committee side, because I'm like this here. As much effort if they put in with that, because I wasn't here. I wasn't a part of it when that consent decree happened, right? I wasn't here at that time. So when I came in, it was already in the make. It was already taking place. The EOJ's coming down and having giving the input in the meetings and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? These different attorneys of disability rights. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying they only get involved when it's man. It's two things folks gonna get involved. Two things. It's only two ways these people will get involved. And I'm telling you this about Mississippi disability rights. Is either when there's some prestige involved or some bread. If it's nothing prestigious, or if it's nothing on the high end side, far as Federal Reserve notes on the high end side, them folks gonna make up all different types of excuses and and everything. That I have first hand knowledge on it. They don't give a ding dong. They say, but they don't do. See, it's just like the Federal Reserve, Mississippi. Disability rights of Mississippi is like the Federal Reserve notes. It is not part of the federal government. It is the Mississippi disability rights is not part of the federal government. Privately owned. As a private company. So they only can do but so much. Because I do remember calling them suckers up. I do remember calling them suckers up. And we had a discussion. And did anything materialize? No, nothing materialized. Nothing materialized. I'm telling you. They'll send you emails about this, that, and give you certain resources to put you in the direction that you need to be in. Yeah, but as far as them getting involved, LEH, no. LEH, no. They will not get involved. They will not get involved. So keep in mind, folks, you disabled people, disabled folks alike, they will not get involved. You're going to have to move on your own. Plain landed on that one. But like I said, you gotta understand what's coming down that pipeline with the city. What's coming? That remains to be seen. I wonder if they're having a council meeting sometime this week. I think so. I think it's gonna be one in the afternoon. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it though. But like I said, I know, I'm just gonna sit, and that's like, I'm not even, I got an email talking about, it's talking about the NFB meeting. You know what I'm saying? I think that's gonna be like the last Saturday of the month of this month. The NFB meeting it's gonna be over at the Addie McBride. I think it's 2550 Peachtree, I think, something like that. Over at the Addie McBride Center for the Blind, they're gonna be holding a National Federation for the Blind, this normal, regular meeting. And so I saw the email, I saw the email Miss Pendarvis sent out, whatever the case may be, and I looked at it, whatever. But I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna attend. I think I'm not gonna attend. I'm not even gonna, I'm not gonna attend. I may attend. It depends on how, how I feel. It depends on how I feel and about what has went on by that time, in between that time. What's going on in between the meantime, between now and that time. You know what I'm saying? Whether I'm gonna go, and that's gonna make the determination on whether I'm gonna go. You know what I'm saying? It's so. But I just think that we need to be, even with an organization like that and the Council for the Blind, that we all need to be on board with something such as this, like what's going on with J-Tran, more involved, a little bit more involved, because this stuff directly affects. It affects the way folks gets to work. But let me say this: when you're out there singing a solo, your voice only goes but so far. And the only way the projection of the message is to get out there. You got to be a choir. You're louder when you're a choir. And sometimes I feel like I be out there all by myself singing this solo. You know, because you get shot down by the ones who's supposed to be on your side. You get shot down or ignored. Why is that? Why they do that? Why they do that? So, but that don't stop me. I still keep it moving. I'm still gonna keep it moving. Raphael Bird is a name. And it's not just a name, it's a brand. And it's a brand of integrity. It's a brand of intelligence. And I will not stand for any injustice for nobody. Period. Doesn't matter. Make a difference who you are. If I had to stand up by myself for you, I will. I will stand up. And I'm just gonna keep that a buck. 100%. I'm keeping it 100%. I'm not gonna sit here and say this, and this, and then back down with my tail tucked between my legs like a scared animal. You know, like when them dogs, they be scared, they have their tail, and they be, you know, nah, I ain't, you got me messed up. Wrong dude. Yo, let's send out these letters. Let's get this thing moving. But what I hate is when, you know what I'm saying, when you get ready to move for them, they don't want to do nothing. Make that make sense. When you start moving, yo, let's make that happen, kid. All of a sudden, they're looking around. Now, let's do it tomorrow. Look, let's wait and see what they're going to say. I ain't waiting to see what they're going to say. Either you got 10 days to do this. After the 11th day, you get no chances. You get no chances. It's over with. Don't come at me with this. Don't come at me. Don't come to me when you have a problem. Because if you sat there, you twirl your thumbs. And you told me, first of all, you came to me, told me about the situation. I said, all right, this is what we need to do. Okay, boom, we did this, boom, boom, boom. You put demands on the process. Look, you got 10 days to respond. Now we're going to take it to the next level. Then the person come to you, the one that had the problem, they're like, man, look, let's wait to see what happens. I really don't want to get involved. This is just too stressful. See, that's one of the reasons why I kind of like stop helping people, you know, with a lot of different things. Because when it comes down to putting in the work, they think it's just going to happen overnight. You're going to get a result. Man, sometimes it takes 30, 60 to 90 days to get that stuff to get something handled. Maybe a year. And you don't want to be in it for the long haul. Ain't no such thing as instant gratification. And if you want it, you're gonna have a problem. There's no such thing as instant gratification, and that's the reason why I don't like helping a lot of people with a lot of different things. Because I do credit. I fix credit. That's what I do. I would consider myself a credit expert. That's what I do. Okay. I tell you, hey, look, this is what you need to do. You need to bring me all 3 copies of your consumer reports. You're gonna sign this permissible purpose paper. I'm gonna give you these documents to fill out, and you give me. You got these documents. I make copies. I give you the originals, and I make copies of. I got copies of all the documents. You give me your your credit reports, so I can analyze them. Right? Cool. But you bring me one. I tell you to bring me 2. I mean, all 3 of them. You bring me 1 of them, and then you expect me to get something done. Nah, I ain't gonna happen. If you don't do what I ask you to do in order to get your situation straight, what does it tell me about you? You don't care. Now, I understand for those who don't understand, that's never done this before. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm gonna give you some grace. I'm gonna always give you grace. When I know it's a circumstance like that. But I'm not finna give you no grace, and we've been doing business for a minute, and you know how this thing moves. That means, in my opinion, that means you ain't taking me serious. When I tell you what my consultation fee, I don't want you coming at me and give me half my bread. All this right here ties into what I'm saying. All this ties into what I'm saying about people when it comes to situations and you fighting for them. You be out there singing a solo and they don't even want to come and join you and help you. No, I'm done. I'm telling you, that's what makes it worth it to a degree, because you got to keep moving. You have to find that individual that needs that help, that's willing to move, that's willing to work, that's willing to stick it out for the long haul. You got to be you can't just stop and give up. And I haven't. And I will not. Like I told you, my brand is integrity. My brand is intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that needs help in certain areas in their life, and I can help them, hey, I'm there. I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna help you out. But like I said before, don't come at me no junk. Because like I said, if I tell you what the price of my consultations are, then I don't want to hear about, oh, you too high, you can't afford it, and it's not that I'm too high. No, you can't afford it. You can't afford it, because if you want help and you ain't got no other choice, go somewhere else and let me see how it works out for you. Because ain't nothing free here. I have to eat. I have bills to pay. I don't work in 9 to 5. Okay. So go somewhere else and see how that works out for you. Serious inquiries only. If you're really serious about getting your situation straight, give me a holler. That's how it works here. I'm a businessman just like everybody else. I got an LLC. I'm registered. I'm everything. So please don't come in handing me no, don't hand me no bull crap, because I'm gonna get right back to you. And you won't even know I'm giving it to you, because I'm gonna box it up, put it in a box so nice, and have that thing so nice. You're gonna be like, you're gonna think you're getting over. You're gonna think you're getting over. But anyway, I digress. My plane landed on that. I'm going, look here. I just wanted to come on here for the day and say what's up to y'all, and I'm not going, I'm not going to bore no more. I'm not going to bore you no more with this, with this rhetoric. I just wanted to, kind of share some thoughts. This is the 601 network, and we We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. And until that time, stay encouraged.